So I'm gonna ixnay that. Nope, we're not doing it. Hey y'all, my name is Nat. I hope you're having a terrific day today. And for this video, we are gonna be doing my February TBR. All right, before we get into anything bookish, make sure to hit like and subscribe down below, as well as tell me in the comments what is a book that you are really looking forward to in February. Are you reading any romance? I mean, it's the month of loves. All right, so diving right into my February TBR. First off, let's start out with my favorites, doing my TBR jars. Someone has zoomies. Okay then, anyway, keep your chaos over there, please. We're gonna start out with my owned TBR jar. Spoiler alert for later in this video, I am gonna be partaking in a readathon this month, and I'm really hoping that I can manage to make these prompts work for some of the readathon prompts. So as per usual, I try and get as down the middle as possible. It's just how I am. I wanna make it as random as I can, and hopefully not have a repeat. Okay, a mass market paperback. I don't have a lot of those. Literally, the only mass market paperback I have is The Lies of 𝗖cie, and that book is the longest book on my TBR, and it's the shortest month. So I'm gonna ixnay that. Nope, we're not doing it. That might be cheating, but I don't really care. It's my channel, I can make that decision. Let's draw again. This one. For the current season. Oh, that actually works perfectly. So February, it's still winter, and it's pretty cold. I've heard that a perfect book for winter time is The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden, as this series is set in the Russian wilderness. We are following a young girl who is one of the few people in her town that still worships the old gods and leaves offerings for them. But when her new stepmother ends up moving in, I think is trying to push, like I don't know if it's specifically stated as Christianity, but Christianity onto the family. Not only onto the family, but also to the village itself. The village's defenses from the old gods start to weaken and evil starts to creep near. So our main character takes it upon herself to try and protect her family and her village by going on some sort of a quest or something. I'm not really sure. I've heard a ton of positive things about this series, and the writing is supposed to be very whimsical and folklore-esque, which is very much up my alley. So I am really excited to try it out. So now for my digital prompt, let's see if I can even open the jar. There it goes. Let's see what we get. We're gonna that one. 10 plus years old. Great. Actually, this works very well. I can do Heart-Shaped Box by Joe Hill, which is on my 10 books to get read for 2024 list. Not only did it come out more than 10 years ago, but also it is the oldest book on my current TBR on Goodreads. Perfect. Actually, that worked out really well. Okay, I was nervous for this prompt, but we got it. Apart from my TBR jars, my other goal to try and do every single month is 2 books, at least, from my Star Wars canon project. So the next 2 books that I have set up are Star Wars The High Republic, The Battle of Jedha by George Mann, which this one I think is actually like a full script. So I'm absolutely gonna be listening to the audiobook for it because I'm sure that'll be performed much better than trying to read it physically. If I remember correctly, Jedha is a world where a lot of Force users congregate, and it was actually going to be a world where the 2 warring planets from the book Convergence were going to meet in order to sign their peace treaties. It looks like that is where the plot is going to be continuing here, and we're going to be following Master Creighton Sun, who we met in Convergence, and also Jedi Knight Ada Fort, who I think we met in Path of Deceit, which are the last 2 books that I read. So that actually works out super perfectly. It continues on with the story, and oh my god, apparently this book comes out to over 500 pages, so that also means it will complete my big book goal for the month. The second one I'll be reading is Star Wars The High Republic Cataclysm by Linda Kang, and this one is actually directly continuing off of the first book, Convergence, so I don't really want to read too much about the summary because I do also think it will have events going off of the second book, Path of Deceit, which I'm currently in the middle of. So I don't want to spoil anything by reading the summary. That's my plan for my 2 Star Wars books this month. Now let's officially talk about the readathon that I'm going to be partaking in this month, which is Jan Agaton's Jante's Inferno. I find this absolutely hilarious. Each of the prompts are based on one of the 9 circles of hell, and so you have to go from the 9th down to the 1st. I'm really excited for this. I think the idea of it is so much fun, and it definitely fits with her aesthetic, so it's gonna be awesome. It goes from February 6th to the 16th, so there's a fair amount of time, and hopefully I will really buckle down and try to get all of these books read. Initially, I was gonna try and double up on some of these, but I think now looking at the books I just drew, might not be doing that anymore. So for the 9th Circle of Hell, you're supposed to read a book set in winter or with snow on the cover, and for that I'm going to be doing The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden. Obviously, there's snow on the cover, and like I said, perfect for the current season. You see why this book worked out so well here. And then for the 8th Circle, to read a horror or a thriller book, works out really well that I can double count my digital book prompt, which was Heart-Shaped Box by Joe Hill, because it is a horror book. I also just realized I don't think I gave y'all a synopsis for it. So this book is following a previous rock musician who is a collector of really macabre things, and he ends up buying a suit of a man who has died that is also supposed to be haunted by said man's ghost. He ends up getting way more than he is expecting. I've heard a lot of positive things about this book, actually, even with its age. I've never read any of Joe Hill's stuff, but I do know he is quite acclaimed, just like his dad, so here's hoping that it'll work out for me. For the 7th Circle, to read a book with a vampire or blood on the cover, I think I'm gonna go with The Guild Stories by Joel Gomez. This was a 12 Rec by 12 Friends book for me, and I know it is following a black lesbian vampire that I think was kind of like pushing against the evil viewing of vampires when it was originally written. It's kind of more morally gray. That's all I really know on it. That's all I want to know. I'm very intrigued because I've heard nobody else talk about this except for when Em recommended it to me. Now, for Circle 6, I have a new release or a hyped book, and this one I'm not really sure what I'm gonna go with, if I'm being completely honest. I keep looking at all of my different TBRs. I keep trying to figure out something that's just really standing out to me. So I think actually I might just leave this one be and have it be a mood read for whenever I actually get to it. So yeah, nothing's standing out right now. We're just gonna keep it at that. The next 2 prompts I actually am going to double count for something. So Circle 5, a battle, war, knife to the throat, enemies, something along those lines. And then for 4, a book you paid full price for, I'm going to be going with Divine Might by Natalie Haynes. First off, this goddess has a spear on the cover. And then second off, I did buy this one for full price. I got it for buy one, get one half off, but the other book was the half off one. And here's hoping I will absolutely adore this book. It is also on my 10 books to get read for 2024 list, as this is the newest book by Natalie Haynes, very similar to Pandora's Jar, which was my top book of last year. If it goes along with Pandora's Jar, it's going to have some great commentary on how these goddesses were presented in the mini myths and the different ways they are showcased and how that speaks on the viewing of women at the times those myths were written, as well as today. I cannot wait for it. I'm so excited. For the 3rd Circle, to read a book involving food, I am actually going to be going with Women Eating by Claire Coda. Honestly, this could have counted for the vampire prompt as well, except I couldn't find anything else that would work for the food, so I decided to make it work for food instead. This is following a woman who is half vampire, but she longs to eat human food. I think it's very much like, you know, women looking into the void and feminist discussions. I'm not really sure. I've heard positive things on this one, and then I think there's also some discussions around like her mixed heritage. I'm really intrigued to try this one out, and then the cover is absolutely stunning. Here's hoping I will like it. It is on the shorter side. I'm trying to be nice to myself and not pick super long books for this readathon, except for Heart-Shaped Box, because I do think that's over 400 pages. Then for Circle 2, a book that has any semblance of romance, I'm going to be going with Bryony and Roses by T. Kingfisher. This is going to be my first of T. Kingfisher's works, and I'm really, really intrigued to see how it goes. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, I believe, that is supposed to be a little bit darker, and I thought this would be the perfect one of their books to pick up first for me, seeing as how I love fairy tale retellings, and it is also on the shorter side. Plus, you know, Beauty and the Beast retelling, so there will have to be some amount of romance involved, I'm sure. And then finally, for the last circle, is to read one more book. You are not allowed to double up on this one. And this I am also going to allow to be a mood read, because if I actually manage that far, I'm just going to be impressed with myself, so I'm going to make that be a freebie for me. I can pick whatever I want. And on that note, that is another pretty ambitious TBR for the month. These are really the only 3 books off of my current own TBR for right now. Here's hoping that those 2 mood reads will be coming from my own TBR to continue working that baby down. We'll see though. All right, so that is it for today, y'all. Thank you so much for going to my channel. I really appreciate it. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, leave me a fire emoji in the comments down below. Make sure to hit like and subscribe down below as well. I have links to all of my socials in the description if you're interested in keeping up with what I am reading. I come out videos on Monday and Friday, but until then, I hope you continue to have a terrific day. Love you, bye!